So I want to give you 6 questions that I think will be helpful as people you know or for yourself that are thinking about this stuff. The first question is figuring out what really matters most to you. Some people say, I want to make the most money I can out of this business. That's what's most important to me. Other people say, if my business will survive without me and thrive, that's great, that's all I want. Others say, as long as my son or daughter or niece or nephew, whatever, has a business that they feel that they want to lead, that's enough. Whatever the reason is, that's going to be what drives your process. And if you don't figure that out first, you're going to be making decisions based on wrong criteria. Second question is, how are you assessing and developing your bench strength? So often we believe that if we just put someone in the business long enough, then they're going to get it. They're going to understand it. The approach that I take is very intentional development. People need to learn things. Sure, knowledge is important, but it's the experiences that matter. So it's intentional development to give them experiences and wisdom that will enable them to run the business. Third question, do you really know what your business is worth? If you don't, I can pretty much guarantee you that you're expecting too much. I just read the book Essentialism. Anybody read that book? It's great. It's all about how do you manage your life better. And the guy that wrote it is a Harvard business professor. And one of the things that he shared with me there was a story about how, in general, we tend to value the things that we already own far more than the things that we don't own. And so the example that he used was for a coffee mug. And he said, if you have a coffee mug and you need to sell that mug, how much would you sell it for? And the average price that people were willing to sell their coffee mug for was $5.47, something like that. And then he had them now go look at the same mug and say, how much are you willing to buy that mug for? And they said, oh, buy it? $2.35. And so that gap is exactly what happens with business owners. And I can tell you the same thing happened to me. I was looking at our business and I was saying, oh my God, we've got an amazing business at Sandler. And we do. We have an incredible business. And so I thought it was worth this much. Guess what? Cheryl David gave us the name of a valuation person. When Josh and I talked, we wanted to have somebody outside of the region to do it. And so we went with him. And he came back and he was like, no, not so much. And so that was a little bit of a rude wake-up call. But the fact of the fact that in reality, the business is only worth what someone's willing to pay you for it. And so it could be more than the valuation says, but it could be less. So you never know. Now, when I bought into the business, I sat down with someone that sits in this room, Dennis Newman, because I needed to figure out what the business was worth from an objective standpoint. And Dennis came back to me, and I remember this very clearly as though it were yesterday. He walked into the conference room with the papers that he had after the analysis, and he said, well, I know what you want to pay for the business, because that's what Josh was asking for it. And he said, I'll tell you, it's not a bad price, but you're going to pay a premium for it. And he said, if you want to pay a premium for it, then go ahead and pay this price. And you know what I said? I said, I'm going to pay a premium for it. And so I did. And so I used Dennis, and he gave me really good advice because, you know what, I think I paid a premium for it. But we buy things because it's of value to us. I was buying it for my reasons, not for anyone else's. And value of the business is only one reason. So next question under there is, what would you pay for your business if you were buying it today? Fourth question is, what have you done to get your business sale ready for the outcome that you most want? So there are a lot of things that will impact the value of your business. The industry might change. The economy is certainly going to change. Your family situation might change. Competition could get worse or better for you. And all of those things are going to benefit from looking at your business through the lens of a strategy, which I strongly recommend that business owners do. Now, the sale-ready part, you think about a house, and of course Mary knows this well from real estate, and you think about selling a house. Okay, so how many of you have sold a house before? Okay, so what was the first thing that you did when you realized that you were going to sell your house?
Dress it up.
Yeah, now you go out and you fix it up, you paint the walls, you put in new carpeting, you make it curb appeal really nice, you hire a landscaper, you do all that work, and now you've got this fantastic house that you're going to leave. And, so when you get out there and you put it on the marketplace, you're going to command a higher rate because you invested in the value of the house. It looks better. You fix the toilet that you've been jiggling the handle on for 2 years because you know that the new owner's not going to want to buy a toilet that doesn't work. you get it sale ready. So the theory here is that the more you can get the business sale ready early, the more effectively you're going to be able to sell it at a higher price. So the analogy that I use, just to have this solidified in your head, is, as Mary said, I work out a lot. My husband and I walk through our neighborhood every single morning, except this morning because I have a cold and it was really early. But we do get up early. But I also like to go to the gym. So I have actually 2 memberships to a gym right now, and one for each part of town that I might be in. It's convenient. And I usually try to go a couple times a week. And sometimes each of you probably get up the same way that I do, and you have good intentions, but you look at your calendar and like, there's no way I'm going to get to the gym today. I'm just way too busy. Meetings all day long. But lo and behold, you're in the middle of your day and something cancels. A meeting cancels, and all of a sudden you find that you've got an extra hour in your day. I could get to the gym, but I left my gym stuff on. How on earth am I going to go to the gym? I don't have time to go all the way home, get my gym stuff, go to the gym. So you don't go to the gym. Gym ready is when you have your bag in your car all the time. You walk out to the parking lot, you look at my car, there's a gym bag in there, because I am always gym ready. You never know. So my husband's name is Jim. All right, 5th question. What will you do with your next 20 years? Okay, so the question that I ask people is, what are you going to do when you exit? And everybody's got the same answers for me. Same answers are, I'm going to play a lot more golf, I'm going to travel, and I'm going to go spend time with grandkids and family. And you know what? That lasts about 6 months. But in that 6-month window of time when they're out there doing that, the rate of obesity, drug abuse, alcoholism, and depression skyrockets. And it is hard to recover from that. So my philosophy and my approach is start doing this planning now so that when you're transitioning out, you're transitioning into something that you're passionate about. So I'll show you the model that I use in a minute. But it is really powerful to do that ahead of time. And then you decide. We lose our community, when we are no longer in the same business circles because we're not at work anymore. And so when you lose that community, it's hard to reactivate it again. And your identity is different. Today you are somebody. When you don't have that business anymore, you are the person that used to be somebody. And that's just a lot harder to feel good about. There's nothing to feel bad about, but when you can move into something more meaningful to you, it really makes a significant difference. Last question, what concerns you most about getting started? This is the real challenge that I see, is getting people started. So I've been doing this formally for a little over 3 years. Informally, I've been doing it a long time. And I keep finding that people are having a challenge with getting started. And so my rally cry is, I want to get out there and do presentations for as many people as I can to reinforce how important it is to get started. Typically, it takes a triggering incident.